Oh, I didn't count.
Yeah, I'll send a writing pencil if you don't have one. I have extras.
21, perfect. That's divisible by 3.
Here.
So we're gonna number off in 7, so I'll explain that in just a minute. So I'll start with 1,
2, 3,
4,
5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2,
3, 4, 5,
6.
7.
1.
2. Okay. And then we're gonna get in our group of our numbers, and you're gonna use your names as a word bank. So, like my name, say I'm with Morgan, so she would write her name, and then Jessica and Mackenzie. Those are the letters you are going to. Sorry, guys. So this is your word bank, and you're going to try and make as many letters as or words as you can, with all the letters in your names. So we'll do a long name in here. We'll do 1s here, 2s there, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 are back.
So don't start making words until we say go. We're going to time it so it's fair. All right.
7. Wait, let's use my
Take a minute, introduce yourselves, write down your names, but do not say
And one more 6-letter word.
Oh, sorry, I'm looking.
Or did you look at it and say go?
Yeah, good thing we used.
Did you say go?
If you are finished, raise your hand. If you're finished writing your name. Okay, all right, we'll take about another 30 seconds. Go ahead. Write your names down, introduce yourselves if you've never met.
Hi.
All right, and we will begin in 3.
I have a question.
Yes.
Okay, can these be like words or can they be like acronyms?
Words.
Words.
What
about proper nouns?
Proper nouns, yes. Proper nouns, yes.
So we can name.
Right.
No texting abbreviations, no acronyms, proper nouns. Real words. Ready and go.
Mine.
IT. Yeah.
That's you? No, whatever you can find.
Oh yeah, that's good.
File.
Rack.
Yep. Can we do tile?
B.
Yeah.
Help. Man. GLC.
Okay.
Lemony. Lemony flavor. What's that?
Tail.
We had ice.
No.
We have TVs too. We had EDs who used to be words too.
We'll take about another minute. 1 minute left.
We had 2 M's. Yep, we had 2 M's.
Tree. Did you do tree already?
Cast.
Oh yeah, we do.
Can't be money.
There you go.
Come on, Jessica. Kevin can go.
10 seconds.
Not good, super helpful,
All over
but.
the place.
5, 4, 3, 2, and stop. Okay, so now we have. There's only one yes. So right now you have 2 things to do. If you wrote separately on your own sheets of paper, compare words to make sure you're not doubling up.
We didn't even do that. That's true. Okay, well.
What if you have a word that's more than 6 letters?
Greater than or equal to 6, you can do 3. I have no vocabulary. I just haven't said.
Did you say next one? It's yours, I know.
She's prepared here.
You're gonna all
Yeah,
mess
she's
up.
like just.
What grade was she?
She was elementary. She has the right language. She's always
So she had like a
all right. If you haven't seen already, we have a point system on the board, so do your best. And those.
I felt bad because it was
Right, so that's good. What are your majors? They get to know each other. Are you really? Yeah, he was up in here.
I have to carried it into relative. I'm saying. Oh, okay.
No, I didn't.
How long are you here?
So now, because I
You're going to visit a friend. So you're pretty good.
Japanese is not my style. Oh, no, I'm just gonna
Yeah, 1 point.
I am elementary as a special ed, so I'm.
Or wine. Or wine.
Alright, your profile. Oh.
And then she has a sister all by themselves about like basically
I have
Austria.
I don't know.
Is it all dangerous?
But like I can do with her.
Yeah.
There were a couple of
One last. We don't want to win that. We can cheat. One last. Go
She just now represents. My full name is Gabrielle.
If you grab the chance to add up your points, how about the person who is wearing the most green today? The person wearing the most green. On the board.
I know.
Because I was at Abercrombie, like, well, I have green on my socks. It's like, yeah, okay, we don't need to know. Yeah, exactly.
Your Gabriel is Gabriel.
Is your trimester ending soon? But they didn't know their trimester ended, so
Hashtag math and
I
science.
think we should average.
Give me one. No, just kidding.
Cause like you said, you're 22.
Would you like to take that upon yourself?
Oh, 9 5, but you
I really don't.
I didn't know.
I will say what
Change your own and then pass it.
Yeah, neither. I didn't even think about it.
That's fine.
We only had 2 different.
Alright, awesome job, guys. That was really fun. So, you didn't already know, team number 2 got first place. Team number 1 got 60, third place, team number 5, and fourth, team number 7. We got 2 for 27, and the last one.
And my favorite part about the icebreaker is that it gives your students a chance to learn names, to see unique spellings, whatever it might be, to introduce themselves, and to join a little friendly competition, to work together that way. I think of any other strategies we use during that. Yeah, I mean, that's definitely an app integration. That's huge. Yeah. So what we're going to do next is to hear about a volunteer opportunity that we have. So I'll give the floor to Morgan.
Hello. Hi. Barwell has another fun night. It's a little bit different than like Halloween dance. I'm not entirely sure what's going on. I haven't gotten the full details, but I do know that it's Friday, December 11th, so the Friday right before exams, and it is from 3:30 to 5:30. So I have the sign-up sheet. If you are interested, please write your name on this sheet, and then also write it in your planner or on your hand or in your phone, or all three, so that you remember. And does anyone have questions that I can answer? All right, thank you. I don't know anything other than the time, so if you're confused about the time, let me know. That's what I got. So next is Kelsey.
Okay, so as we talked about, we have book fair coming up. Woo! Yay! So it's not this coming Monday, but the Monday after that, November 30th. So I have sign-ups here. Most of the slots are filled up, and we're happy about it. But we do have some blanks here. So if you guys want to check out your schedule, or even if you're not, you can't stay the whole time, you can even specify, I have to leave this early or come a little bit late, but any time helps. So I'm going to pass that around starting here. And then one more thing with book fairs as well, just as an incentive to get the word out, we're going to be, just for our members only, we're going to have a raffle going out for a member to win 100 free Scholastic dollars to buy books there. Wow. And so raffle tickets will be given out by every shift you sign up for will be 1 ticket. And then another way you can get a ticket is by someone coming to the book fair and saying that you recommended them to stop by. So if that's other clubs, the Greek life, classes, work, wherever that's at, because it doesn't have to be a CMU student. This can be parents, family, friends, coworkers. So spread on the word, because $100 will get you a couple books.
Just the couple. 2 or 3.
Yes. And then another way we set for tickets as well was that if while you're working your shifts there, if you're out on the floor talking to the customers that are coming in, and what we'll ask the customers as they come in, did someone help you? And they say, yeah, Heidi helped me, showed me this chapter, book selection. That's another way to get a ticket. So spread on the word. Yeah. That's it.
Alright. Andrew, do you want to talk about our next meeting?
Sure.
Okay, cool.
Okay, well, our next and last meeting for the semester, it is our Snackorama, and that's our last meeting of the semester, and it's close to exam week, so you're going to want to come here, because exams are just going to annoy you, and you're going to need a break. But this is what the Snackorama is we're going to have a table in the middle of the room, and you're going to bring the snacks, and you're going to put them on the table. How many snacks you bring is how many you get to take that other people bring. For example, if you have a bag with 3 cookies in it, that equals 1 snack, because one person grabs that and you get to trade off with another snack. But it's kind of like a Hunger Games thing, first come, first served. It's PG, so no elbows, but... Okay. But that's basically what it is. You bring snacks and then you trade them off with even amount of snacks, and then it's just, we're going to play games that whole time. it's gonna be a nice break, and you're not even gonna think about all the projects you've been working on that whole week. So I hope you all come. You better come. It'll be a blast.
One more piece of business before we move on, but it's kind of an awesome segue. So what we do at the end of every semester is kind of take like an interest survey to see what you guys are interested in learning. Because we don't want to just serve the interests of people on e-board, we want to get speakers with topics that you guys want to know more about. So I have a quick survey, but the way I'm going to do it is put on the visualizer. So you'll need a piece of paper and a pencil, or writing utensil of some kind. If you need another piece of paper, there's more in the back, and we can get you some. I will use this.
Can you just write in the back of the one you use?
Yeah, absolutely. If you want to write in the back the piece you have, that's fine. You don't have to write your name if you don't want to. If you want to, that's great. I have 3 quick questions. And let me know if you can't see that. I'll turn the light off up here. Does anyone need to take that? Oh, yep, right. So there's 3 questions. The last, just asking you to list a few. Don't feel like you have to copy all these down and circle them or something crazy.
Megan, what's the R in stream?
Reading.
What's the A?
You said
Arts.
Oh, I said robotics.
Maybe. That's, I don't know. Engineering?
And then for A, I was like arithmetic math.
Yeah, let's add some more. That's what the school's name.
Ah! I lost the tickets.
I literally just learned about that yesterday.
I understand that.
It's where, like, instead of teaching a lesson that all the kids are supposed to be
Oh, I'm good.
create an electrical lesson, it works. Oh, I was like, why are you giving me your survey?
Sorry, we got lots of business. You're on rights.
You're on.
Sure. You'll find it. We'll ask like 1 question or 2, and they'll say wait.
That's perfect. That's exactly what we need.
That's always what happens.
Good. Good, good.
Or just one. Grab one.
Are you interested in getting some of in next semester? No. What would you like to learn about? What's that? Education. I'm for insomnia. It's like the opposite of your diabetes.
Yep.
Okay.
I just want to throw people off.
Plot twist.
Plot twist. I don't actually go into this.
If you're finished with your sheet, you just pass it towards the middle and we'll pick around.
These are really nice chairs.
I think they're new. They sent out a survey last year about chairs and tables for people to fill out.
Yeah, feel
Just
free to
this
add your
building?
own words.
For, like, cross
I
campus.
appreciate that because we want to know what you're interested in. So take it. Add terms.
No,
It's your gift.
is that wheeling it down the sidewalk?
Just roll along.
Yeah, we like the Grinch. It's just broken. Broken wheel. Taking it to get fixed.
Yeah. You guys gonna still be able to keep doing CMLACMU?
That's the plan. What we are
Now that
proposing
you-
for next year
Yeah.
is that we're changing the curriculum to more like doing local concepts and starting with the basics and having some extra programming in, but it's hard to believe in people to not be repetitive.
Right. It might be repetitive to a certain degree, but you can always, like the second time you cover it, do like a next level.
Very true. So Norma
Sure. Is no one helping with that?
Yes. Thank you.
You could always do it like on a 4-year cycle too.
I mean, if only had 4 years.
Right, sure.
Although I hear it's school. They're combining all of our cohorts.
Yep, we're trying. It's one of those things that we need that. Big wigs.
Wait, you're in my class?
We're trying to do it. CMU program is a week long.
I know, I'm right too. I wonder what it was in the chat. Don't you feel like sometimes he says things I'm like, is it? I'm like, yes, I don't know. Did I get everyone?
Thank you, Morgan. Thank you. Hi. Okay, before I have the pleasure of introducing our speakers tonight, if I could have everybody in the back kind of move forward a little bit, we're going to have a discussion and we want everyone to be a part of it.
What, you guys are too far back.
Come on, Heath.
Seriously?
It's his request.
You're gonna be teachers and you don't sit in the front row? Seriously?
We're also going to do this how much you're
We're real close, so I can borrow $10 from you and pay you back to you. It's real close. That's what you just said.
I know it's amazing about money.
Are you done with this?
If you have the slips and aren't done with them yet, just make sure you get them back to Mackenzie before the end of the meeting. Or turn them into the back table. But without further ado, I'd like to introduce you to my favorite teacher, the person that inspired me to be a teacher. He was my middle school teacher when I was in middle school. He got his undergrad at Western. But he came around and then got his master's at Central, so we can applaud him for that. Yep. He always tells me and other people too that kids don't care what you know until they know that you care. And with that being said, I'll leave it to Mr. Nestle.
Okay, so here's what I want to do. I am, and my kids know me as this, I am a no-nonsense, straightforward, slightly in-your-face teacher. I don't beat around the bush. I am blunt. I tell you how it is. I don't want kids to ever have any question about how things are. Kids will, if you come to my room, kids will tell you they don't get chances. Like, if they do something wrong, can I have another chance? No. You know what you're supposed to do. That's how I teach. That's how I talk to college students. What I want to do is I want to do like a question and answer kind of thing. And what you'll find, ask me absolutely anything you want to know about education, from the great things to the dirty things that nobody talks about, that we sweep under the rug and we say everything in education is perfect. I want to talk to you in a way that when you leave here, you feel like you're more informed about education, but at the same time, you're more pumped up to go and teach. I am not afraid to tell you anything, like it is. I won't sugarcoat it. I'll be blunt. If it's bad, I'll tell you it's bad. If it's good, I'll tell you it's good. If you want to know what education is really like, I'll tell you. If you want to know what something is, you're in a class, and you don't know what it is, or you don't know how to do it, if I can, I'll tell you that. I'll tell you, like, teaching is one of those things, like today, I had a fantastic day today. We did like some inquiry-based teaching today. I was standing at a table yelling at kids. Kids were teaching in my room. Kids were dancing in my room. Kid cried in my room today because he got in trouble and I didn't yell at him. I just told him I was disappointed and he cried. It's fantastic. No, I love that because you know what? I don't want a kid to be afraid of me. I want a kid to be so afraid of disappointing me that they feel horrible. You know what I mean? So listen, I'll tell you anything. I just have this because I have ADHD, and if you talk to me, I'll jot my ideas on the board maybe, and then I can reference them if I need to. Okay, so we want to know questions about education, absolutely anything. Go ahead.
Okay, what are some most challenging parts, the stuff that we don't talk about?
Okay, so for you guys, the easy challenging stuff is if you go into a school that doesn't have a canned curriculum they can give you. Like whatever subject area you are, say you go into your first year of teaching and you're going to teach 8th grade science. And so they say, here's our 8th grade science curriculum. And they give you a whole bunch of binders. Here's what you do on day 1 to day 180. You start with this and you end with this. Some schools you're going to go into and you're going to say, okay, you're teaching 8th grade science. Here's the national standards. Good luck. Like, create your curriculum. Some of it you have to make up on your own. That's really hard. Handling kids in your classroom is really hard. Figuring out what to do with classroom management. What do you do if some kid tells you to F off in the middle of class? Say you can't send them to the principal. Say you can't send them in the hall. Say you can't send them to in-school suspension. What do you do? Say you have some 8th grade boy that's a pervert and drops a boob comment or a penis comment in the middle of class. What do? You sure as heck better not just let it go, because if you do, you're gonna have it all the time. You're all terrified right now, aren't you? You know what else is hard? What else is hard is finding ways to motivate kids sometimes. You'll have kids that just don't care at all. They don't give a crap what you say. They don't care about your class. Finding ways to motivate them, that's hard. You wanna know what's the hardest? And this is true of any school you go to. My wife is a teacher at a different school. My 2 best friends are teachers at different school. The hardest thing is politics. Politics like from government, that you have nothing to do with. Politics within a school, and then petty gossip and stuff from other teachers. That's by far the hardest. Whether you're involved in the gossip or not. Guys, be glad you're men. Because I'll tell you right now, it is 100% easier for us. I don't know why it is, but guys, we don't get drawn into it and we don't get talked about it. Girls, you're getting a hard time, I'm telling you. Whether you want it or not, it's there in schools, and it makes it extremely difficult. I will tell you, kids are the easiest part of your job. I think the most difficult part is politics, and sometimes even administration. Yeah. Do you want me to talk about something different in relation to that?
I mean, how would you deal with those things like that?
Oh my God. Okay, here's a perfect example. Here's a good example. I had a kid today. Let's talk about the kid I made cry, okay? This is a good example. Kid I made cry today. I have a kid in my room with special needs. He is CI, cognitively impaired. I have him in science class and I have him in my advisory class. My advisory class has 60 students in it. Yeah, in a classroom for 30. So, but I choose that. I choose to do it. He has his backpack and he's pulling it like this. My CI student's going, stop, please stop. And I look at him and I'm like, I'll just call him D. Yo, D. I'm like, can you let go of his bag, please? And he looks at me and he's like, fine. So he lets go of it. And, okay, so now me, because I'm the type of person, you don't get to look at me and go, you don't get to look at me and go, roll your eyes. If you're a girl, you can't go, whatever, okay? You guys know some of you did that growing up, right? Oh. So what I did is this, I said, hey, D, I said, you know that's not okay, right? And he's like, yeah, whatever. And then, so I start talking to him. I'm talking to him just like this. I'm like, it's really not okay to treat people like that. I said, if he tells you to stop, you should stop. The whole time I'm talking, he's going like this. So 60 kids in the room, okay? I have to make a decision about what I'm going to do because he has to know that's not okay. Everybody else has to. So I stop. I'm like, hey, hang on a second, you guys. There are times I would take kids in the hall. This needs to be addressed. So I'm like, what were you just saying? He goes, nothing. I go, oh yeah, you were. And his face is like, because he knows. And I'm like, what'd you say? Because I don't want to talk about it. I said, listen, here's what's going to happen. I said, in 2 seconds, my advisory today, we cut up a brain, a heart, and lungs, and it was pretty sweet. Because it's deer season, and if you deer hunt, save your organs, and if you teach science, bring them and show kids. So I told him, I said, listen, you have 2 choices. You can tell me what you said and stay here and watch what we're going to do, or you can go sit in the hall till we're done and miss it all. And that's like, hey, you didn't get to open your presents on Christmas, we're going to give them to somebody else. And I said, what'd you say? And he goes, I was kind of mocking you, but as he said it, he starts to cry. And I said, you were kind of mocking me? Making fun of what I was saying because I was trying to help a kid out because you were teasing me? He goes, yeah. And I said, my first comment is, do you talk to your mom and dad like that? That's my first thought. And you know what he said? Yeah, sometimes. And as a teacher, I already knew that. If he's going to talk to me like that, he's probably talking to mom and dad like that. So then I said, you know, real men don't treat people like that. Do you know what I mean? He doesn't know what I mean because he doesn't have a parent at home that teaches him that. He is bawling at this point. So I said, okay, listen, D, you're going to come talk to me after class, okay? Before you leave to go to your next class, right? He's like, all right. So I totally take the focus off of him because he's so upset. End of class, everybody leaves. He hangs out. He walks up to me. He's fine. He's recovered himself. He comes up. He sits down in front of me. My comment is, what's up, man? He bawls. I'm talking bawling. 7 7th grade, 13 years old. I'm like, listen, I said, I'm not upset with what you said to me. I said, because nobody's ever taught me how not to do that. I said, but you gotta understand, real men don't act like that. That's my favorite comment in middle school with boys. Are you acting like a real man? He's bawling. We talked a little bit. I patted him on the shoulder. He walked out. I saw him later in the day. I said, hey, D, we all right? He goes, yeah, we're okay. I'm sorry. I said, okay, not a big deal. That's why I handle some of that stuff. Okay. What else? What else do you want to know about education? Go ahead.
So you said you mentioned you have a student with CI in your classroom, or that is CI in your classroom. So how does your communication work with your special educators? Because I'm a special ed major, and I was just like wondering if you have like a good relationship with your special educators, or if it's kind of like, you know, touch and go. Because I know like that's one of the biggest challenges for special educators is communicating with gen ed teachers.
So I'll tell you, in our school we have full inclusion.
Okay.
We don't have CI classrooms. We used to. We don't anymore. We have full inclusion. A lot of classes, especially math and ELA, the special education teacher is in the room with the regular education teacher. That can be a great thing, and it can be a really bad thing. Last year I had, trying to be candid, I had a teacher in my room who was a special ed teacher. I had 22 kids, 12 who were diagnosed special ed, and 10 regular ed. And the 10 regular ed that I had, about 6 or 7 of them were actually lower than the special ed kids, but they were too low to qualify for special ed, if that makes sense. That special ed teacher did nothing. I taught the whole class by myself. The special ed teachers I have now, like my first class, I have 30 kids in my first hour. Of the 30, I have 11 special ed. Everything from high functioning Asperger's autism to CI to you name it. Basically, the special ed teachers we have now, for me, they work as a resource. I don't have anybody in my room. We have IEPs that are all on the computer, so we can see what the accommodations are. And when we use our grade books, for each assignment that I give and an accommodation for, I have to type in the accommodations that I do for each assignment for each of those special ed kids. And we have parents that will call or email you every time there's an assignment if there's not an accommodation listed beside it. And you can get huge trouble with the law if you don't do accommodations for special ed kids that have IEPs. It adds 45 minutes to an hour of work for each assignment for each class.
So your special educators don't write your accommodations, you're doing that?
They write the accommodations on the IEP. They tell us what they are.
Okay, so
They tell us what they
you
are.
implement it in the class.
Yep. They tell us what they are. We then implement them. Sometimes because teachers sit down on IEPs too. You guys will sit down on IEPs. Sometimes we will give suggestions, like I think so-and-so should have their testing done in a different location. I think these 3 people should have their tests read aloud. I think this person is totally okay. I think this person needs to have modified assignments. I have a kid this year, 7th grader. He gets no grades. At the end of every trimester, he gets pass or fail. Did he try? He passes. Did he not try? He fails. Okay?
Do you like full inclusion?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you want to know why?
Yeah.
Because some of the special ed kids are really tough. Some of them had nobody to love them. And I'm that guy. That's why. Sometimes it's really hard.
Yeah.
Really hard. My Asperger's kid that I have this year, he is really hard. Really hard to teach with. But yeah, I love it. I love it. I fight it sometimes just because I'm human. But I get in there and I get in the trenches and I do it. Okay? What else do I know? Go ahead.
Let's talk about parents.
Let's talk about parents! Oh! What do you want to know about parents?
Let's say you have a really angry parent. They just won't shut up when they're yelling at you on the phone. How do you handle that?
Like,
stay calm. Won't they come back though? They're not gonna.
All depends. So here's how I handle parents, okay? Whenever I call a parent, I always use the same process, okay? This is a great process to use. Start positive, state the issue, take ownership. So, for instance, let's say, what's your name? Dylan? Okay, let's say Dylan won't stop blurting out. Let's say he blurts out 15 to 20 times an hour. Let's say, that's pretty minimal too, okay? Just so you know. Let's say I spend 10 to 15 minutes an hour just talking to Dylan. It's to the point where it's affecting everybody else's education. I've decided to call his mom. I know his mom is little cray cray. So when I call her, I gotta be careful, okay? So what I'm gonna do is this. She's gonna call me and answer. I'm gonna say, hi, this is Mr. Nestle. I say, I wanna call to talk about Dylan. Start with a positive, always. Because what happens? When you call home, what's the first thing parents do? Throw up a wall. School never calls home, there must be something wrong. So you gotta drop that wall. Start with positive. Hey, this is Mr. Nestle. I wanted to call and let you know, Dylan has been doing pretty good with his crazy class. He's got everything turned in. He's been doing pretty well on his assignments. But I wanted to call to talk something. So start with positive, then state the issue. I'm going to say, you know what? He's been blurting out so much, I'm having a really hard time teaching. Okay, I'm going to state the issue. After I start with positive, state the issue, I'm going to let mom talk a little bit. We're going to talk back and forth a little bit. I always end phone conversations like this. If you can work on it at home, and I can work on it at school, I know we can get it fixed, or make it better. If you say, Judas Priest, would you be a parent and work with your kid? Listen, the reason the kid is like that is because they aren't doing that at home, okay? And you're going to get that. If you've got a class of 30, 20 of them are going to be like that, okay? If you get a crazy parent, I had a crazy parent. This is great. We had to call her. She's been banned from our school. She's not allowed to come in our school because she found out her daughter had a boyfriend at our school and she tried to hit him with her car.
Oh.
True story. So she's been banned from our school. So this mom calls school and says, listen, I can't come to parent-teacher conferences. I want each of the teachers to call me. So all the ladies that I teach with are like, no. So we all decided as a group to put it off. We put it off for a week and a half. Mom calls again. Now she's really mad, okay? So we got to call her back. Here's what you do. If you call someone and they are crazy, say they're screaming at you, say they're swearing, anytime they start screaming, anytime they start swearing, you say in a very professional tone, I'm sorry, I can't talk to you if you're going to talk to me like that. You'll have to come into school and we can talk with the principal. Goodbye. And you hang up. The nice thing about a phone is you just push end. And it's done. If they want to come in and talk with the principal, that's fine. If you ever know you have a crazy parent, and you'll know, because a lot of times the kids will come up through the grades and teachers before you will warn you, okay? And they want to talk, always have either another teacher sit in with you or a principal, always. Try not to do like one-on-ones with parents if you know the parent's kind of crazy, because then they can make up anything they want and it's a he said, she said. And we've seen those before too. Parents too, parents can be your best of friends. You will have parents that are fantastic. They'll do anything for you. You absolutely love them. But at the first sign of something negative towards their kid, they will turn like a tornado. So you got to be real careful with parents, for sure. Parents are tough. Okay. What else do I know?
I noticed like one of your first stories goes back to it, but like what? I don't know. I feel like it's bad to like embarrass the kid in front of the class.
What you'll find is this: there's a difference between embarrassing and sarcasm and just getting everybody to laugh. And what you'll find as a teacher is, because you're all going to be great teachers, and you're going to know your kids 100%. You're going to know how you can teach them. You're going to know which kid you can joke with a little bit and you can push a little bit. And you're going to know which kid you have to totally leave alone and talk to after class. You know what I mean? Okay. And you'll know which kids you can totally feed off of, and which kids you just kind of have to like, don't ever put them in the limelight and make a joke about them or whatever it is. Perfect example. Here's today. We're doing inquiry-based teaching with the movement of the Earth in space. We're talking about revolution, rotation, axis, orbit, ellipse, you name it. One of the things we did after kids taught me about it, we did movement. We did second level thinking. So I stood on the desk. Everybody had to partner up. They all had to have a partner of the opposite sex, which in middle school is bad enough. Then what they had to do is they had to show me the movement of the Earth in space. If one person was the Earth and one person was the sun. But because we're held in place by the sun's gravity, the sun had to have gravity, a hand. The Earth, on their axis, the imaginary line goes through it, had to attach to the gravity, so they had to hold hands. Middle school, that's awful enough. Well, I had a pair who has been in love forever. And no, it gets better. They've been in love forever. They're both extremely popular. They're both extremely confident in themselves. They have been sitting by each other for the last week and a half and have not talked once. You know how it is. Like, they just kind of do this. So today, they had to hold hands, okay? So I'm on the table, they're over there. I know I can not really pick on them, kind of like poke them a little bit. So everybody does this. I told them, gravity like this, axis like this. That way, you can show the tilt of the Earth, and you can do your rotation at the same time, like this, on a hand, right? What do you think those two do? They go like this. They're doing this. Instead of this, they're doing this. So I'm like, time out! Hold up, pause. Hang on. And everybody's like, what? I'm like, okay, listen. In middle school, this is love. I know you love, but I want you like this, okay? And of course, They're all like, oh, and everybody else loves it because every girl in the room knows that she loves him, and they haven't talked at all, and this is like their first icebreaker ever together, and the first thing they do is do interlocking fingers in front of me? Come on. So you'll find the students that, and what you'll find too is this. There's some kids that want it, because what they'll find is it's an appropriate way to get attention without them having to misbehave. You know what I mean? Okay, what else? What do you want to know? Go ahead.
How do you motivate kids whose parents don't care about the education?
You have to be a cheerleader, okay? Even if you're not a cheerleader, you have to be a cheerleader. You have to care about them more than they care about you, and more than they care about your class. Let me talk about Superman. I have Superman in my room. I don't want to get emotional because this guy, he's hit me right here this year. So Superman in my room, he walks into class first day. Here's what I notice. He's got a rope holding his pants up. He has no socks on. His pants are about 3 sizes too big. His sweatshirt is 3 sizes too big. His sweatshirt is full of holes. His hair is about this long, and there's enough dandruff in it to cover his shoulders. Okay? So instantly, I know, low socioeconomic, no money at home. Okay? So my thought is, he's going to be more concerned about home than he is my class. So first thing I want to do is I want to get to know him. Very first activity we do in class, this kid steps up, he totally takes charge of everybody. And I'm like, holy shit, like this kid like just totally stepped up and he took charge in my class. He's a quiet kid. He's a quiet kid because he's low socioeconomic. He doesn't want anybody to notice him and what his life is like. So what do? I talk about it. I'm like, holy crap, Superman. His name's not Superman. I'm like, Superman, that was freaking awesome. Did you guys see what he did? We're talking about observations, things we do in this activity. And I'm like, okay, Superman, here's what he did. He took charge, he told people what to do, he helped get the deal done. That was freaking amazing. You know what else I do? Every single hour, I make a point to tell my other classes what Superman did and how awesome it was. Because now there's like 140 kids talking about Superman. Okay. So I'm getting Superman in my back pocket. Okay. Next thing I know is Superman's not coming to school here and there. Okay. I started asking around. What I found out is Mom has 2 jobs. Mom goes to work at 4:30 at night. She works until like 10 o'clock at night. Then at 10 o'clock she goes to another job, works till like 6 o'clock in the morning. So Superman goes home with his little brother. He is in charge of his own hygiene, which he does nothing of because he doesn't know how. He is in charge of his own dinner. He's in charge of when he goes to bed. He's in charge of his own breakfast. Okay? Kid has way more responsibility than a 14-year-old kid needs. And obviously he has no idea what to do. So as teachers, we have what's called an SST at our school, Student Study Team. Okay? And notice every day I make a point to talk to Superman. If he says something to me, fine. If he doesn't say something to me, fine. I put Superman's seat right next to my computer. So every time kids are working, I'm sitting here and I'm talking to him, okay? I'm building relationships. What I'm noticing is, slowly, Superman is doing more volunteering, okay? He's raising his hand a little more. We have an SST, what we find out is, obviously they have no money. If they can find money for food, fantastic. So, Mom ends up cutting Superman's hair, okay? Because it's bad. I mean, it's this long. You know what it looks like if you put too much gel in your hair? That's what his hair looked like when he didn't wear gel, okay? So Mom gets a pair of clippers, she borrows from a friend, and she shaves his head. But when she shaves his head, she doesn't shave it all off. There's like some that's long, some that's short. Around his ears, it's still like long. It looked like he got hit by a lawnmower. So I go to the counselor. As soon as I see him, I'm like, oh my gosh, if this kid goes to school like this, he's gonna get teased to no end. So we pull him in, and I talk to Superman, because Superman and I have a pretty good relationship right now, okay? And I said, buddy, do you want us to try to find a way to fix your hair? And he says, no, I like it, it's good. Because he's too proud. He doesn't want somebody to help him. It took 3 weeks. It took 3 weeks of talking to him before he would let somebody else cut his hair, and we fixed it. At his SST, we're talking to Mom. Mom doesn't know what to do. She's never home. She has no money. She works 2 jobs, and that puts food on the table and pays their bills. She asks me, as his teacher, if I will talk to him about hygiene. I'm like, oh my God. Like, I went to college, and I needed to learn how to teach kids science and English, and I needed to learn how to create lesson plans, and I took lesson plan. I needed to learn what STEM was. I needed to learn about it. You know, she asks me if I can teach your kid about hygiene. I'm like, holy crap. I'm like, but my thing to her is, absolutely, 100%. So I leave the meeting, they pull Superman in, and they tell him about that. And they say, hey, do you care if Mr. Nestle talks to you about, like, man stuff? You know what he says? Yeah, sure, that'd be awesome. So you're asking how I'm motivating, okay? You're going to see it in a second here. So I care about this kid until he knows it. Everybody else knows it. So every hour, here's our routine now. Every hour, at the end of the hour, Steve stays in his seat, everybody else leaves. I come up to Steve, I go, Steve, did you brush your teeth this morning? Sometimes he says yes, sometimes he says no. I say, okay, Steve, is today the every other day, or did you shower last night? Because he showers every other night. He can't shower every night, it's too much for him. I can tell the nights that he doesn't shower. I said, okay, did you put your dirty clothes in a bag and bring them to school so that we can wash them for you? Because they don't have a washer or dryer at home. I said, are those clean clothes that you have on, or have you wore them for more than 2 or 3 days? First 2 weeks of school, same pants, same shirt, same sweatshirt every day, first 2 weeks. He'll tell me, I'll say, okay, listen, did you change your underwear last night, or do you have the same underwear on? When you took your shower, did you wash your body parts? Did you wash your hair? Did you wash your armpits? When you woke up this morning, did you put deodorant on? If you didn't, did you go to the counseling office and put some on? What's cool is that his hygiene has improved 110% just because he knows I'm going to ask him, okay? Okay, let's get back to your question. Today we're doing inquiry-based teaching. It's hard. I don't teach the kids anything. We don't open a textbook. I pose a question on the board that drives our entire lesson. Who do you think has their freaking hand up, waving it like this the whole hour up, jumping out of his seat because he wants to answer? Superman. And it's all because I care about him and I motivate him. One of the biggest things you can do in your class, if you want to motivate kids to learn, show them how important they are. Every single kid. Build relationships with them. Show them how important they are. Care about them. When they do stuff that's right, totally pump them up. Make it the most obnoxious cheerleading thing you've ever seen in your life. And when they do it, tell everybody. The inquiry-based teaching that I did, we had like 5 or 6 kids each hour that ended up teaching to create one concept. And I made sure that every other hour that I taught knew the kids, and the other hours they did a fantastic job teaching because they needed to know it. Does that answer your question? Okay. I mean, you know, I'm thinking right now, think in your head, who's your favorite teacher in middle school or high school? And the reason why is because they had a relationship with you, right? For the most part. Or they're really fun. One of the two, yeah? Yeah, so why not do that for somebody else, right? What else? What else do you want to know? Go ahead.
What are ways that, like, if you have to implement discipline in your class, what are ways that you do it? And, like, what's your opinion of sending a student to, like, in-school suspension or, like,
It's a cop-out. It's a cop-out. Okay. What do I do with discipline? Okay, so I am a firm believer, if you send a kid out of your room, you're copping out. You're giving up on that kid. So I do a couple different things. And my kids know it all depends on what it is. For me, it depends on what it is. I like kids to in their chairs. I don't care. But if you fall over, you have to push your chair and stand up. Stuff like that. You're not allowed to swear. You're not allowed to make perverted jokes. If you make a perverted joke, I will warn you one time because you're in middle school, and that's what middle schoolers do, especially boys in the hall. Good Lord. But if you do it once in class, I'll warn you. If you do it twice, we're going to get on the phone and we're going to call your mom. And you are going to tell your mom what you said. It only takes one time with one kid, and you will never have that problem again. Some stuff, the biggest problem you're going to have as teachers is little stuff, like people who doodle when they're not supposed to, or people who blurt out, or people who talk to somebody else. So I would say, I'll do this. 2 of the biggest things that I do are this. In my class, anytime I'm talking, or anytime somebody else is talking, you can't have a writing utensil in your hand unless you're taking notes. So say somebody else is talking and somebody starts doodling, everybody has the right to take somebody else's pencil. And you get to hold it until I tell you to give it back. It's fantastic. My doodlers, it's awesome. I have kids who, like I have 2 big doodlers. They're fantastic artists, but any of you doodlers in here? You know we all doodle to a certain extent. So I have these 2 doodlers, and we have a rule with them, and we've talked about it, that if we have to take their pencil, they lose their whole binder. They lose everything. And then once we start taking notes, they can have it back. Because if you don't have a pencil, it is impossible to doodle. If you can't doodle, your eyes are here instead of here. Because I don't care how much you tell me, you cannot text and pay attention at the same time, and you cannot write and pay attention at the same time. One of the biggest things that I do, and I teach my kids how to do this in the beginning of the year, it takes about a month and a half to teach them how. What I do is I teach my kids how to remind each other what to do. I tell kids, you blurt out, and you talk when you're not supposed to because nobody has ever taught you how to be more aware of it, okay? So like, let's say that you guys are sitting by each other, okay? Let's say you're a blurter, okay? What I'm gonna do is this, he's gonna blurt out. If I talk to him, I'm addressing him, and if I discipline him, I'm addressing him, and all it does is makes him mad at me, right? So what I'm gonna do is this, Dylan's my straight A student, he's probably sitting beside him. You're gonna blurt out, and I'm gonna go, Dylan, can you remind him not to blurt out? Thanks. I'm gonna keep teaching. Did he hear me? Absolutely. Does he know I'm talking about him? Yeah. Dylan was my straight A student. A teacher has never talked to him in class like that before because he never does anything wrong, okay? Now, the next thing I'm gonna do is this. Next time he blurts out, I'm gonna say, Dylan, can you guys, you're all sitting by him, right? Can all three of you remind him not to blurt out, please? Okay, now, so I'm still teaching. Don't remind him not to blurt out. He'll say something like, whatever, shut up, okay? And I'll say, hey, listen, they're just trying to help you so you don't get in trouble with me because if I'm talking to you, now you're really in trouble, right?
E equals MC squared.
Can you remind him not to blurt out, please? I'm still teaching. Now what happens is this, your straight A kids, they don't want to be talked to. They like to just come and sit and learn. They don't want to be the center of attention. They just like to do their job. So what happens is this, as soon as he blurts out, there's 4 people asking him to be quiet before I even have a chance to turn around. It's to a point this year, my 3rd hour class is tough. They are tough. I have a ton of blurters. I can do this. I can be teaching on the board. He can blurt out. I can just go like this. And I got 6 people asking him to be quiet. But I've taught my kids how to do that. And what happens is, all that little stuff like, please don't talk when I'm teaching, please don't blurt out, put your pencil down, stop drawing, quit fiddling with your papers, put your book away. All this stuff, you could spend hours doing that every day. My kids take care of it all. If they need help with that kind of stuff, then I'll help. Like if you ask him to be quiet and he tells you to shut up, yeah, now he's in big trouble. Because that's not nice. And I'm gonna make him apologize to all of you. And what you'll find too is that kids hate being reminded what to do by their peers a whole lot more than they hate being reminded of it by me. It's awesome. The other thing I do, Heidi just reminded me. You know one of the things I never understood in high school, in my high school English teacher, my college prep English class, she had a rule. The rule was anytime she was talking, you had to take notes. But if your pencil lead broke, you couldn't sharpen your pencil while she was talking. So if your pencil lead broke, you were screwed because you got in trouble for not taking notes. But yet, you couldn't get up to sharpen your pencil, or you got in trouble too. So if your pencil lead broke, you were in trouble. I never understood that because it's like any teacher who can't talk over a pencil being sharpened for like 2 seconds, something's wrong. So with my kids in my room, I'll be teaching, I'm up here talking, I'm doing something, kids are taking notes. They just take their pencil and they go like this. It makes no noise at all. They go like this. I'm teaching it, they go sharpen their pencil, nobody even notices, I keep on teaching. I've got all kinds of like little ism things that I do like that. The biggest thing is kids reminding each other, for sure. And then a lot of it too is kids, as you teach, kids learn what they can get away with and what they can't. And you're gonna find too, like if these are your boundaries, okay? If you have high schoolers, they're gonna go here to test those and push them. If you have middle schoolers, they're gonna go here, okay? And if you have elementary kids, they're gonna go inside them, okay? What else going on? Yeah?
How long does it take to implement those like classroom-led instructions, like in the year?
So, I'll tell you it depends on the class. I had one class, you know Ben Bryan? Ben Bryan was in middle school. His class of 28 kids, they had it figured out by the 2nd week of September. Never had to talk to them, never had to remind them. They picked their seating chart all year. 2 years ago, I had the worst class that I've ever taught in the history at 17 years of teaching. And by class, I mean like 150 kids. Of the 5 classes I taught, 3 of them had it figured out in April. 2 of them never did. This year, of the 5 classes I teach right now, 4 of them have it figured out. 1 is still working on it. And the one that is still working on it, I'm hoping they get it by March. That's my goal right now in my head. Okay, they're getting there. Yeah. But it's just a slow process. And a lot of that is just because of who the kids are in the class and who's the mix of kids in the class. Okay, you know the other thing? Don't use seating charts as a punishment, use it as a reward. I tell my kids, if you can, this is like a discipline thing for sure. If you can work effectively means not be rude and not blurt out. If you can work effectively and get your work done and turn it in on time, I don't care where you sit, okay? It took my kids about a month to figure out how to sit quietly where they wanted to. And if it doesn't work, like I'll let them pick their seats. I walk into class, I take attendance, I come up on the board to talk. If they're still talking, I stop right now and I give everybody a seating chart. Like they know when the bell rings, you're quiet, and if you're not, I'm moving your seats. so it took them about a month to figure out how to get quiet, and then they were sitting by their friends, and they were working good, and they were quiet, but the problem was they weren't getting their work finished, because you know, they just talking too much. So I gave them a seating chart. They just picked a new one. They were in it for about 3 days, and then slowly each class kind of got worked out of it because of different reasons. But use them as and I tell them, listen, I'm gonna give you a seating chart. You're gonna sit here until you show me you can work effectively, and then I'll let you pick again. Because we have some teachers in our school that are like, literally like rows and columns, and like you get a seating chart the first day of school, and that's where you sit. Some of you are shaking your head like, yeah, I remember that. Okay. What else do you want to know? Go ahead.
So like throughout your years, it sounds like you're pretty innovative and like trying new things. Have you been challenged, like, I guess, harshly by other teachers and administration, more than just like rolling eyes by other staff?
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. So for about the first 5 years of teaching, one of the colleagues that I taught with, her, what do you call it? Her term of endearment for me behind my back was she called me the chipmunk on crack. In closed circles. I don't go to the teacher's lounge. I don't go there ever. It's a toxic place in my mind. I get a lot of gruff from teachers because I have fantastic relationships with my kids. Fantastic. And I don't really care what other teachers think about that. So yeah, I get a lot of gruff. There's a lot of teachers who, me and them are in the same boat, so that's okay. You'll learn as a teacher that what's hard is that you have to have collegial working relationships with everybody in your building, okay? So you have to be able to work with everybody, whether you like them or not. And I've slipped a few times, and I've told people what I thought about them, and got in trouble for it. And at the same time, there are ways that you can distance yourselves from people and not see them and not work with them for long periods of time, and that makes life a lot easier. If you separate yourself from drama, and if you separate yourself from the people who have drama, that'll make education really easy for you. The hard part, and this is true of everybody, the hard part is we as teachers, we're storytellers, right? If you hear a story, especially if it's a good story, especially if there's a little bit of juice behind it, doesn't matter if you're a guy or a girl, you want to go tell somebody else, don't you? Because, oh my God, did you hear? Like, I have a hard time not doing that now, because there's some things you hear, it's like, OMG, did you hear? And it's hard not to do that. I will tell you, if you can learn not to do that, it will be so much easier for you as a teacher. But yeah, I've had a lot of ups and downs. So you want to hear, let me tell you a couple? Okay, so 1998, I was a senior at Western Michigan University. I went to do my student teaching in a school called Bangor, Michigan. I was placed with a woman who had never had a student teacher before. She had 3 boys who were an infant, 13 months old, and 3 years. Never had a student teacher. What we found out about 3 months after being in her classroom was that she hated men. Here I am. So I teach the whole semester in her room. I get to the Wednesday before I'm going to graduate on Saturday. On Saturday, I'm moving home. Wednesday, she comes to me and she says, I don't want you to be a teacher, I'm not passing you. Okay? So that was Wednesday. On Friday, I'm supposed to graduate Saturday. Okay? On Friday, we have a meeting at Western with the Dean of the College of Education, my supervisor from Western, a few teachers from the elementary where I was, including the principal and her. Everybody back to me, everybody said, he knows what he's doing, he's going to be a fantastic teacher, yada yada. You know what Dean said? Dean said, you've proven your point, you've proven that you're going to be a good teacher and you're ready to go, so we're not going to fail you. But because we trusted her to be your mentor, and this is what she is saying, you have to do an 8-week extension at another school before you can have your diploma. I was going to go home on Saturday. So in talking to my advisor, my first impulse, and I'm a pretty emotional guy when I get mad, my first impulse was, screw this, I'm not going to be a teacher, I'm done. So I didn't. I went and did my extension. I did it with a new guy at a new school. Greatest thing that ever could have happened to me, okay? So that was one thing. Maybe like 8 years after that, doing my master's here at CMU. Do my master's, I did an exam. I had 4 hours to answer a 4-question test. I typed 22 pages in 4 hours with all of my sources cited, from memory, with notation, yada yada. So it was supposed to be graded like in a week. My advisor at the time left and went on vacation. When she came back, she failed every part of my question. I went to the dean about it. Long story short, she violated a whole bunch of university policies and how she graded my paper. I passed, she got fired. Okay? In 2010, I was the middle school teacher of the year for the state of Michigan, from Amity, okay? So, highs and lows? Yeah. Highs and lows? Yeah. Today, I got them teaching, I had kids laughing, leaving my room. Fantastic. I had Toby, who doesn't do anything. He's 6'4", 280 pounds, doesn't do anything. Leaving class goes, that was awesome. That was awesome. That was awesome. That's better than anything. Those are my highs. You know what I mean? So in teaching, you're gonna have lows here and you're gonna have highs here. The thing you have to do is you have to survive these and live off of these. Because remember, no matter how bad these are, there's short periods of time. And the thing that you do for kids is so much bigger than all of this stuff. I can tell you that's a story, but I won't, because I want you to like education. What else do you want to know? Go ahead.
How did you train yourself for like the classroom management style that you had? My guess is you had zero experience before.
Yeah, so I came out of college like you guys. I was green, I knew nothing. So on a fluke, my first year of teaching, my mom came in and videotaped me, okay? And when my mom videotaped me, because my mom was type, I watched the video. You know what I saw? I was standing in the middle of class like this, and this is it's like etched in my mind. I was going like this. Okay, guys, have your attention. Okay, here we go. So I'm talking. Hey, can you listen, please? Okay. So we're talking, and like I'm talking. I'm trying to get their attention. Nobody's listening to me. Nobody. Not one person. And I had no idea how to get them to listen to me. So a lot of the stuff that I've done, I figured out by doing it wrong, or like not doing it, not necessarily right, but in a way that was effective that allowed me to teach. My first couple of years of teaching, I was trying to get kids to listen to me more than I was teaching. And when major students and like student teachers come to me and are in my class, that's what I find too. They don't know how to get kids to listen to them. So a lot of the stuff that I figured out is through trial and error. It's through doing the right thing and through the wrong thing, and talking to other teachers about the kind of stuff that they do. I had a girl today, 4th hour. She took her head and she put it on her hand like this, which is okay. And she closed her eyes. What do you do? What do you do? What do you do if you have a kid who they're sitting in class like this, then the next thing you know, they're like this? What do? You don't leave them, because if you leave them, you just told everybody, no matter what I'm teaching in my class, it's okay to put your head down, close your eyes. If you sleep, okay. You know what you do? Find out why first. Find out why first. Like, okay, listen, hey, what's up? How come you got your head down and your eyes closed? Something go on last night? If they say, I stayed up and played video games, they stand up, they push you in their chair, because it's impossible to fall asleep while you're standing up. And if you do, you're gonna wake up real fast. Okay? If they say, you know what, I had to go to the hospital last night because my grandma had an accident, I was up really late, I'm sorry. You know what you do? You say, okay, put your head down, sleep. We're not gonna bother you at all. Better yet, go back at my desk, put your head down, sleep. Come see me during lunch, I'll catch you up. You know what you just did? That kid cares about you more than anything. You just help them stay awake for all their afternoon classes, so they're not gonna get in trouble, and they're still gonna come get you what you learned. So a lot of it, you learn from trial and error. One time I remember, if you've ever heard me speak, you heard me talk about Joe. I had a kid named Joe, probably the worst kid I've ever had, 17 years. He was really bad. I remember, and this was my first year of teaching. Worst kid I ever had in my first year. Yeah, I know, right? So Joe was the type, he would drop like rude, like the C word for girl genitalia in the middle of class. I know, right? He would call girls that in class. He would drop the F word to me. He would throw chairs across the room. He was worst I've ever seen. When it got to like March, I'm a first year teacher, I'm like, whatever. He did something, I can remember, I looked at him and I said, Joe, I can't do it anymore, man. I'm done with you. I gave up on him, okay? I said, I'm sorry, I can't do it, I'm done. He went home, you can go if you have to, that's okay. No, that's okay. He went home, I found out that the night before, Joe's dad had got out of jail. He'd been in jail for about 4 or 5 years. He went to his house that night, pulled a gun on his mom and dad. Police came to the house, arrested his dad, and took him away in front of him. He comes to school, he's drastically trying to tell me that something's wrong, and what do I say? Sorry, I can't do it anymore, I'm done with you. Seriously? At that point, that first year teaching, I'm glad it happened my first year, Because I made a commitment then, no matter how bad the kid was, no matter who they were, I was never gonna give up on it again. I don't care if you swear at me every single day for 180 days, I am not gonna give up on you. And what's hard as a teacher is that a lot of those kids you try so hard on, you never know. You'll never know if you make a difference or not because they'll never let you know or they'll never write you or whatever. But there are those kids that like years later you get some random letter in the mail and you're like, oh my gosh, I thought you hated my guts. You know what I mean? Yeah.
I'm just curious, like, how do you like make it so that doesn't affect you? I don't know, 'cause I feel like that kind of,
What do you mean, how what doesn't affect you?
like the swearing, if like you know like a certain kid that was really negative towards you, like how does that, you know what I mean? Like,
It's hard. My first few years of teaching, I didn't know how to deal with it. Okay. Now I don't like kids swear, period. Well, here's a rule in my class. Okay, if something drastic happens, like say you're walking across class, you trip on your chair right in front of everybody, you go, oh shit. Well, you know what? That's what we all do at home, right? That's what we all do. But when you're with your friends in the hall, it's a whole lot worse than that. So if something drastic happens and it accidentally slips out, say sorry. Because you all know how you talk at home with your friends or whatnot. But if you're just randomly doing it to get attention, no, not okay. If kids hate you, that's hard. It's really hard. But what you have to do is every single day, you got to care about them. You know what? Last year I had a kid named Pat. Pat wanted me to know every day how much he hated my guts. Okay? He wanted me to know it. He acted like it. Like he'd come into class and I go, Pat, what up, man? And he'd go. He would walk down the hall like this. If I was walking down the hall and he saw me coming, he'd go. And you know what I did? Every single time, if he did that. Pat, good to see ya. I know you don't see me, but good to see ya. Every day. Because you know what? Even though he's trying to show me how much he hates me, and you know what? Maybe he's got a dad issue. Maybe he's got a grandpa issue, who knows what. Deep in his mind, there's that little seed. Yeah, you know what I mean? So I don't know.
What do you do when a kid does like blurt out to the class though?
I've only had that happen a couple times. Okay, so if a kid does something like that,
Or even like directly to you, like.
first thing I want to find out is why. Why? Why are you swearing like that? Usually what you'll find is A, B, C, and D happened at home this morning. C and D happened in the hall before class. F happened at lunch, and now I'm the straw. You know what I mean? I'm the straw that broke the camel's back. So usually if that happens, first I measure your anger level. If you say the F word in my class, you're probably here, right? So first thing I'm going to do is this. I'm going to say, listen, I want you to go in the hall. I want you to calm down. As soon as you're calm, poke your head in, tell me you're calm, and then I'll come out and talk to you. You're not in trouble. I just want you to go and calm down, okay? So you're going to go in the hall. You're going to calm down. You're going to poke your head in. If you don't poke your head in like 3 minutes, I'm going to come talk to you, okay? And I'm going to tell kids that. I'm like, listen, if I forget that you've been out there for more than 3 minutes, let me know. And they'll, because I forget. I get teaching it and I forget. I'm going to go out and talk to you. I'm going to say, hey, what's going on? I'm like, I don't know about your swear. I don't know why you swore. What's wrong? Usually you'll find they're not mad at you at all, okay? So then what you do is you coach them on what can you do if you're really mad? What can you do instead of dropping words like that? Anytime somebody drops a swear word like that, really loud, that like way over top of the class, if it's an F word, you're going in school suspension. There are some things I draw the line with. If you're ever bad for a substitute teacher, or if you ever drop an F-bomb in my class, you go to in-school suspension. We'll talk about it later, and I'll work through it with you, but sorry, those things, there's no get out of jail free card, okay? But a lot of it, you just learn to work with kids. I'm telling you right now, figure out why. If the kid's not doing their work, if a kid is swearing, if a kid is sleeping, if a kid will not answer in class, figure out why. 99% of the time, it has to do with something at home outside of school. But take the time to figure out why. And you're only going to know that if you build relationships with your kids. Every single one of your kids. All of them. Yeah. I love my kids. I had such a great day today. What else going on? Go ahead.
That'll be our last one, I think, House. I know. I mean, if you have anything else, like burning questions, like absolutely feel free, but we should start wrapping up.
That's fine. I have something to give you guys too before you leave. Something that'll help you be a better teacher. Go ahead.
No.
No, go ahead. I can do that for you.
Okay, just like a short, I guess this isn't short, but summed up. With like this large curriculum, do you follow by book like 7.2 this, or do you just look at your standards and then make lessons off that to fit that?
Okay, good question. Here's what we have. We have a canned textbook program for 7th grade and 8th grade that I teach, okay? So here's what I do. I take, because I'm doing this year, okay? I take national benchmarks and standards that I'm supposed to teach for each grade level. I organize those in a sequence that makes sense to me. Then I look and see what does the textbook have to offer for that. And then once I kind of either use it or don't use it, or use the activities or don't use them, I fill my own stuff into those gaps until I fit this. What it looks like is crazy. So like, first time we used the 8th grade textbook this year, we haven't actually used it yet. We start on page 650, okay? You don't start on page 1 and go to page 500 anymore. My 7th grade class, we're doing Matter right now. They have these really cool consumable textbooks you use and then throw away. We're doing lesson 1, 2, 5, 7, 8, and 11 for Matter and Energy, because those are the ones that make sense. Those are the ones that aren't just stuff and fluff, and those are the ones that match benchmarks and standards. Sometimes you might have to fill a gap. So like for Earth and Science, national standards say you don't have to teach anything about the sun. So as a teacher, you have to say, okay, listen, do the kids really have to understand stuff about the sun for them to understand what happens to the Earth in space? Yeah. So I'm going to have a lesson that has no benchmark and standard to back it up. I can back it up with my own reasoning, but sometimes you got to do that. You know what I mean? So, and I will tell you, I taught, in 17 years, I've taught everything from 6th grade through 8th grade, English and science. For the last 6 years, I've taught just English. Because of retirements that we have, this year I'm teaching just science. And when I went in to teach science this year, I was given benchmarks and standards and said, good luck. The textbooks that they use for 7th and 8th grade, I got the first day of school. Luckily, I had stuff planned before that, but hopefully you don't get hired in a school district that's like that. We're working to make ours not like that, but understand that that can happen, okay? So listen, here's something that, I went to a conference last week. It was called Teachers Learning Together. Some of the stuff that they gave us, this is stuff that I do in my room. Some of it, the first one is like tips to asking better questions to your students so you don't just get yes and no answers. This is, and there's two sides to this. This one is how to frame feedback questions for kids. If a kid gives you a question, how do you respond to them? And then this one is like anchor questions. Like if a kid gives you something, you say, okay, in my opinion, or based on my experience, or it's just all kinds of ways that you and kids can respond and ask questions to each other. It's good stuff. Probably gonna lose it before you go teach, but at least you have it now. Put this, you know what, do this too. Here's a good tip. You guys are in college. You're getting so much stuff right now. Find out what works good for you and what you want to use. Keep that in one place. Have like one folder that is like the golden child. Keep it at your parents' house, because then you're never going to lose it. You know what I mean? And keep that stuff. Here's another tip. We've been talking a lot about stuff, you know, tonight with kids and whatnot. Start a folder right now. Take the stuff that you get from kids, letters, little papers that they write, stuff that's about you that pumps you up. Maybe it's a text message, maybe it's a Facebook instant message, you name it. Print that stuff off, save it, put it in a file or a folder. I have 2 binders in my room right now. I call those, it's my Why I Teach binders. So when I have days when school sucks and I hate education and I don't want to come back the next day, I pull that binder out and I read it and I can't wait to go. Okay? Listen, if you ever have any kind of questions, or if you ever want to like come down and like visit my room, you're totally welcome anytime. Let me, here, you can keep those. Let me write my email on the board, and you just shoot me an email. I had 2 CMU students in my room today. Well, it was fun. I had 2 CMU students in my room today, and it was hilarious because of all the stuff I did. I got done, I asked her what I thought, and they were just like deer in the headlights, like, oh, like where do I start? My email is Heath Nestle. You can spell my own email. At Shepherd Schools. .net. If you need to do something for a class, if you have questions about education, if you need to do an interview, if you need to do anything at all, if you just want to come watch, if you do this, if you go teach a new mid-tier somewhere